If you're under 25 and you feel confused about money, why your paycheck feels small, why it seems impossible to save money, why you feel like everyone else is ahead of you and you're not even able to start investing even if you hear so much about it. It's probably not because you're bad with money. It might actually be because no one has really taught to you about money, about how money works. In this video, I'm breaking down those money basics that no one really taught you, or maybe you've just heard about them in passing and no one has really explained it to you. These are the exact foundations that helps to determine whether you struggle financially or you get ahead financially early in life. If you haven't met me yet, my name is Wura and I'm a tax, investment and finance educator. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, like and share this video with your friends and your family. Let's start with the first shock that a lot of young adults encounter. So you're just out of school, you get your first job and you're really excited, especially when you see the salary. So you start working, you get your first paycheck, and then the amount is way lower than you expected. Why? It's because you were looking at your gross income or your gross pay. Gross income or your gross pay is what you earn before taxes and any other deductions. Then your net pay or your net income is what you actually take home after all the taxes and other deductions have been taken out. So you have your federal taxes, your state taxes, you have your Medicare, you have your Social Security, or whatever tax deductions are there in your home country. Now, if you build your life around your gross income or around your gross pay, you're always going to feel like you are broke. The first financial skill that you need is actually planning your life around your net pay. So again, that money that you actually take home after all the taxes and the deductions, and not planning your life around the money that you earn, or you can call it your gross pay. Now that you know what you're actually taking home, what do you do with that money? Most people avoid budgeting because they think budgeting means no fun, no shopping, no eating out. They think budgeting is really a restriction, or it's something trying to control how you spend your money. But that really isn't true. This is the truth about budgeting. Budgeting is actually telling your money where to go instead of wondering where your money went. Imagine you take home $2,500 or whatever the equivalent is in your home country, and then you end up spending every single thing that you take home. You are actually going to get stuck. But imagine if you already decide before you get that money that this is how much you're going to save, this is how much you're going to invest, this is the amount of the fixed bill that you have that you're going to have to pay. And then also at the same time, you're planning that, okay, this is how much I'm going to use to eat out, or this is how much I'm going to use to buy something that I really desire, or something that you really have always wanted to buy. Now you're in control of your money and you're not feeling stuck. Budgeting is direction, and direction creates freedom. Now, in creating your budget, the very first thing that you have to learn is the difference between your wants and your needs. I call them the two types of expenses. Let's start with your needs. Your needs are those things that are necessities, those things that you need to spend money on. So think of your rent, your mortgage, your food, your transportation. Those are things that you must spend. Next, let's go to the wants. Your wants are things that you would love to have, things that you would like to have. They are not necessities. Without them, you can survive. So think of things like your subscription, things like going out to eat, going out to watch a movie. You can actually survive without these things. Now, it's okay to have wants, but the problem really starts when you start labeling your wants as your needs. So you hear things like, oh, I really need this new phone, or I really need to upgrade my wardrobe. Now, those are not needs, those are wants. Labeling your wants as your needs is the beginning of you spending or overspending on things that are not even necessary. And those are the things that make you broke or give you a feeling or a sense of being stuck. Every want that you mislabel as a need ends up stealing some money away from your future. Let me say this very clearly. You are not irresponsible with money. You were just financially uneducated. Nobody taught you how money really works. Nobody taught you how credit card works, how you're supposed to spend your credit. No one taught you how interest compounds. No one taught you how to invest early. No one taught you how taxes work. Then you turned 18 and then they just handed you a credit card, and then you started having student loans without any form of financial education. Financial literacy isn't really common sense. It's really a skill. Once you learn that skill, everything just changes. It's like a light bulb just, comes up. Everything changes once you learn financial literacy. In talking about financial literacy, let's talk about savings versus investing. Now, it's good to save. Saving actually gives you some form of security. So think of your 3 to 6 months emergency savings fund. And by that, I mean having money set aside that can cover 3 to 6 months of your expenses, so that if anything happens, that money is there. You're able to keep paying for your needs. Emergency funds shouldn't be kept in an investment account, because with investments there is that risk of loss. So when you're thinking about savings accounts, you're actually thinking of your emergency funds, money that you cannot afford to lose, or your sinking funds. These are monies that should actually be kept in a high yield savings account. Now, do not keep it in a regular savings account that will give you 0.01%. Put it in a high yield savings account, and I will put some of those in the description or pin it to a comment so that you can actually check them out if you need it. But these are the things that you keep in a savings account. Investments, on the other hand, may not provide you with as much security because there's the risk of loss. But if you really want to grow, if you really want to build wealth, savings cannot help you. This is where investment comes in. And the earlier you start to invest, the more time you actually have in the market, the more time you have to ride those waves, the more time you have to earn dividends to get, increase in the value of stock, because the time spent in the market is way better than ever trying to time the market. What you should take away from savings versus investments is really that you need both. You need a savings account, and by savings I mean a high yield savings account or a money market account. You need this for security. You need it to put in money that you cannot afford to lose. So again, your sinking funds or your emergency funds should be in that savings account. And then you need your investment account to grow and to build wealth. So you need both savings and investment. You need savings for emergencies, and then you need your investment for freedom. Now, this is a simple way to explain compound interest. Let's say you have money, and that money earns money, and then the money that was just earned earns another money, and then that money earns another money. So technically, compound interest is interest earned that is capitalized. So by capitalization, I mean that it's added to the initial money that you invested, and then when it's added, it earns more money. That more money that it earns is added again to that money that you invested, and then it earns more money. So it's like interest earned on interest and then on interest, and then it just keeps adding up. If you invest $200 or whatever the equivalent is in your home country, you invest this amount a month at the age of 22. By the time you get to retirement, you're looking at over $1 million in your investment account. But what happens if you start late, and let's say you start investing at the age of 32 before you start to invest? You could actually lose couple $100 by the time you get to retirement. And this is not because you're poor or because you're dumb. It's just because you did not take full advantage of time. Your biggest asset when it comes to planning your future is time. Time is actually even more important than the income itself. And this is the reason why someone who invests a little over time but starts very early can actually beat somebody that makes more money but did not start investing as early or started investing late. So the earlier you start to invest, the better. And this is just because starting early means that your money has more time to grow. Now let's put everything together. We've learned the difference between gross pay and net pay. We've talked about budgeting. We've talked about savings versus investment. We've talked about needs. We've talked about needs versus wants. And then we've also talked about compound interest, or you can call it the time value of money. A lot of people struggle because they started late, but you don't have to. You can take all this knowledge that you've just learned. You can also watch my other videos and then put them into action, put them into good use. If this video has helped you, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and then like and share this video with your friends and your family. Start learning money before money starts to control you. I will see you in my next video. Bye.